and we were going down our lane, and we got to the end of it, and I'm like, what is that? And it was a pallet full of these. I'm pumped and excited to be with you guys again today. We're going to talk about a survey that just came out that when I read through it, I was literally like, what? No way. This can't be what this survey is talking about. It talks about losses of honeybees. You know, we always talk about how many bees die each year, summer and the fall and winter and all that, bees dying. And we always think about percentages. We're going to break this down, and I want to point out something that, I don't know, did you guys catch this? Have you seen it? It's going to be real surprising when I point out something. I think you're going to be as surprised as I was. And before we get started, hey everybody, David Burns, good to be with you. Got my Santa hat on because it's getting close to Christmas, Santa cup. We're going to be talking. I got a coffee time coming out toward the end of this video coming up. So if you stay tuned, we'll get into a little bit of coffee time where I just kind of chillax and talk to you guys about some cool stuff, life, whatever. Hang out with me. Bobblehead Davids, both of them are here. We've got grandfather, you know, not really grandfather, but this original Bobblehead David's been with me a long time. And Sherry got me a newer one here, I think last year. And he's wearing a hat, trying to be like me, I guess. Oh, it's good to be with you. Sherry made me some gingerbread cookies. Look at that. Beautiful in a Christmas plate. And I'll talk about some unique gifts that I got at the last beekeeping club that I spoke at. I was blown away by that. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's jump right into this bee loss survey. I'll show it to you. This survey is put on kind of by the Apiary Inspectors of America, along with Auburn University and Oregon State University. And I'll just be putting sections up here on the screen for you to look at. But I want to point out some things. We're not going to go into the nitty-gritty details of the survey. You're welcome to do that. I'll leave a link either on the screen or in my description. But it's a survey of U.S. beekeepers and the losses that beekeepers experience. And it dates back to about 2008. I don't know if that's when they started, maybe. But it encompasses a lot of years that we can see how many bees are dying each year based on, season, like how many are dying in the summer, how many are dying in the winter, and how many die overall during the course of a whole 12-month period. That might be intriguing, but one thing that I want to jump into, they've broken it down into the 3 categories of beekeepers. Now, this is cool because I find it interesting because I don't like the word hobby beekeeper. And the reason I don't like it is because a hobby is, in beekeeping, if you're a hobby beekeeper, a hobby really isn't what we do in beekeeping, because a hobby, I looked up the definition, and a hobby means that it's something you do at your leisure time, you relax, you chill out, and when you want to, when you have spare time or something, you may go ahead and embrace your hobby. Beekeeping isn't that way because beekeeping is so demanding. It's more than a hobby. And here in this survey, they actually use a term. I've been looking for a term to use, and I like the term that they use. They use the term backyard beekeeper. I like that better than a hobby beekeeper because beekeeping really isn't a hobby. But it is something you can do on a smaller scale in your backyard, even though it's pretty demanding, more demanding than a hobby. But anyway, I was just blown away, stay with me, how they broke it down. And I want to reveal something that you're going to probably pick up on that I picked up on. Losses by operation type by 2020 through 2023, 2024. And what they mean by operation type are the 3 types of beekeepers: the backyard beekeeper, the sideliner, and the commercial beekeeper. So if you think about these 3 types of beekeepers, we think about the backyard beekeeper, they have less. Somebody picked these numbers out. I don't know who did. It was just somebody random at a meeting and they picked the numbers out. The numbers don't really mean anything. I've seen it have different numbers, but stay with me because it's pretty exciting. But in this survey, they say that a backyard beekeeper has less than 50 colonies, and that a sideliner has between 51 and 500 colonies. That makes you a sideliners. That sounds kind of unique. If you have 500 colonies, well, you're a sideliner. You're just doing it on the side a little bit. Have you ever tried to keep 500 colonies? Oh my gosh, it's so much more than just a sideline thing. Anyway, that's the number. And of course, a commercial beekeeper is someone that has more than 500. So it's 501 all the way up to whatever number you can play with. So I want to talk about the difference in the losses in these 3 categories of beekeepers. So it says here, different. Now that's interesting. Different from previous years. This is different, people. Something is different. Something is it's afoot. This really got me pumped and excited. Like, and all these years of survey, something is different. What's different? Look, different from previous years, backyard beekeepers during 2023, 2024 experienced a lower annual loss rate than commercial beekeepers. My mind was just blown away. I thought, whoa, that's crazy, you know? So let's see if I can figure this out here. So they experienced a lower annual rate than commercial beekeepers, 45% for backyard beekeepers versus 55.7% losses for commercial beekeepers. I mean, I think a lot of times, let me get a drink of my good coffee here. Coffee time's coming up. Okay, so if you think about this, I always thought, you know, and I think most beekeepers think this way, that a commercial beekeeper doesn't lose any hives, because a commercial beekeeper, you know, they got the support of workers working for them. They've got big equipment. You know, they obviously know what they're doing because they have more than 500 colonies. They can't be losing anything. They're commercial beekeepers. In this survey, commercial beekeepers are losing more colonies than a backyard beekeeper does. That is different from what we've seen in the past. But let me go on with this. Let's see. This represented a lower loss year than average for backyard beekeepers, 4.1% less than their running 13-year average of 49. Backyard beekeepers are starting to lose less colonies. And I'm going to talk about what that means, or what I think that means in just a minute. But a significantly higher loss year for commercial beekeepers, 16.8% more than their the 13-year running average of 38.9%. So when I saw this and I started reading through it, I got really excited because, you know, I speak mostly and I teach mostly to backyard beekeepers, sideliners. I know some commercial beekeepers watch me, but, you know, I speak mainly to help beekeepers that are new within 5 or 10 years. They're kind of just got a few colonies, they're getting started. You know, that's what I really kind of view my target audience, and that's what I gear my videos to. So what I wanted to just conclude from this survey is that backyard beekeepers are getting sharper. I mean, backyard beekeepers are advancing their ability to keep bees alive. And how are they doing that? I think backyard beekeepers are just getting more into bee biology. I think they're getting into understanding how to control mites better. Hey, I got to tell you, I've been on YouTube teaching on bees since 2008 for over 16 years, approaching, you know, a little over a decade and a half. And there was a time when I started talking about helping people understand they need to watch and control their mites. People weren't happy with me. No, I'm serious. People just started saying, I got feedback, you know, on my YouTube channel here back like, I don't know, 2010, let's say, pick a year, you know, 10 years ago. People were like, no, we don't care about mites. That's not true. And I don't have mites. That's what everybody was telling me, even though they'd been in the country for a previous decade. People were just saying, no, I don't have mites. I don't worry about mites. We don't have to think about them. I don't want to control them. I just want to keep bees. And I kept saying, no, you got to control mites. You got to work at controlling mites. People didn't like it. But now it's rare to find a beekeeper, a new beekeeper that's starting out that doesn't understand mites. Everybody seems to get it. Everybody knows that if I don't do something with my mites, my colony is going to die because of the viruses the mites spread. So also, I think it was difficult for me to convince people they need to feed their bees in the wintertime. And I think now you see not just me, but other companies produce fondant. Other companies are producing things that bees eat in the wintertime. And there seems to be a bigger trend now of people realizing that maybe it would be good if bees didn't starve to death in the wintertime. Again, you know, beekeepers take a lot of honey off that bees store up for the winter, and we take it off in the fall so we can go to all the fall festivals and the farmers markets and all and give it away, or not give it away, but sell it at these big, you know, big festivals, I guess. And it just doesn't make sense to me to take all the honey off and then wonder why our bees starve to death. So anyway, I think if you're going to do that, you need to feed your bees something in the wintertime to keep them alive. So we got better nutrition that backyard beekeepers are on board with. We've got better mite control that backyard beekeepers are on board with. And get this, I'm really excited because I think a lot of new beekeepers are on board with knowing that they've got to understand bee biology, that they need to take the step beyond just learning about bees, you know, on one single or couple of YouTube videos, mine or whoever, and then they think, oh, that looks cool, I think I'll do it. It's more like people are starting to watch and understand that I've got to keep these bees alive. They are livestock. You know, if you had a dog or a cow or a goat, you just don't leave them alone and let them be and work out their own problems. You have to take action to keep livestock alive. And that's really cool. I think that's what this survey is. I could be totally wrong. But to me, I'm pumped and excited. And I just want to give an applause out to backyard beekeepers for upping, or I guess lowering your losses because of better beekeeping management, better beekeeping skills, a better mindset, maybe even a better critical thinking skill that helps you even keep bees better because you're learning to solve your own problems instead of just relying on other people to spoon feed you the answers. Do you like the shirt here? This shirt is actually available through our merch. I'll try to leave a link to that. But it's a term that I use a lot about cowboying up because I think that's what's happening with new beekeepers. They're finally cowboying up. That's a term I use. I use it because to me it means you got to cowboy up and get it done. You know, cowboy up and do a mite count. Cowboy up and check for mites and treat for mites. Cowboy up and feed your bees in the wintertime. I mean, that's what I'm excited about. You got to just cowboy up sometime. And I think that's what we're seeing. So I'm excited about this survey and what it means. And boy, it's pretty, it goes into losses by state. And again, I'll leave a link where you can go through and read all of this. You may even want to participate in it, but it was quite interesting to read through that. When I was speaking last Monday night in Indiana, Indianapolis, some of you on the live stream, a lot of you were asking me, well, tell us where you're speaking at in Indiana and we'll be there. But it wasn't, as far as I could tell, it wasn't really something that was open just to a broader public. I appreciate you wanting to be there. I would have loved to have seen you, but it was a kind of like a local bee club area. I think it was a large group of people, but they sold out. They sold tickets just so they could know how many people were there because there was like a big, oh my gosh, the meal was like if you've ever been on a cruise ship. I mean, they had shrimp and they had all these wonderful dishes. I think they called it a potluck, but it was more like a buffet. I think they called it a buffet. And it was just the food. Oh my gosh. It was wonderful. I love to eat. And the food was just great. Anyway, they had prepared this night, like a Christmas banquet for their club. And I was reluctant to tell you to find out because they sold every ticket that they had available, room to put people. And so they didn't have any more tickets available, any more space to put people anyway. That was really rewarding to see. But I want to show you something, a couple of things. First, oh, no, I'll do that last. This was interesting. They gave me a couple of gifts for being there. And one of them, they know I like coffee. I'll look at that in my coffee mug here. So they gave me a Christmas ornament that says whole bean coffee. Sorry if my camera focuses on everything but this, but it's a cute little ornament about coffee. And you have to really know, you have to kind of watch a lot of my videos to pick up on things that I enjoy besides bees. And one of them is I enjoy restoring old vintage typewriters. Back behind me, there's a typewriter all broken down, a 1938 Smith Corona that I'm working on now. I've already restored 2 of them. I restored a lot of 1950 model typewriter. I love a typewriter. I still type on a typewriter. I mean, not everything, but I still enjoy typing on a typewriter. But anyway, they gave me this card. Are you ready? I've never seen anything like this. I don't know if they had to have had it made. You can't buy this at a card shop. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? And it has a little piece of paper and they all signed it and it's a typewriter that pops up. I mean, who goes into that crazy amount of detail? Carrie and, if I can remember some of these names, Carrie was the kind of the coordinator of the banquet. Thanks so much, Carrie. And they gave my wife, this was really impressive. They gave my wife a little present and it's a necklace with a little tiny jar of honey on it. And it says here, contains Indiana State Fair first place winner and best show honey. And so it's a necklace with the winning honey, a little tiny honey jar on it. wow. I mean, it was just, and what was a little bit embarrassing and awkward, they had a whole plate of cookies with my face on it. And I actually ate one, and it was me wearing a hat. Anyway, I had a ball. This is, I think they call themselves CIBA, Central Indiana Beekeepers Association. And one of my good friends, David Hocock, was there. He's a EA, a certified master beekeeper. And I met people like a wonderful beekeeper lady and her husband. Her name was Sunshine, and her husband Chris. And they sat pretty close to me at the banquet. Anyway, they're fans of my channel. We talked about her husband Chris, bikes and cycles like I do. We talked about that. I met so many great people. Let's see, Don Abel. He was kind of the host, the spokesman at the event. There was David By, set my PowerPoint up and everything. Anyway, I loved it. I talked on critical thinking, how beekeepers need to have better critical thinking skills in beekeeping. Beekeepers need to know how to not only keep your hives alive, but beekeepers need to know, how to fix things and how to explore, and really how to not let other people be responsible for figuring things out, because I think each of us has the opportunity to figure things out ourselves, things that we can improve on beekeeping and make beekeeping better just by the things that we want to see happen in beekeeping. And that's one of the things I want to talk to you about in coffee time. Let me move some things out of the way. So, this is close to Christmas, and I know Christmas can be a time where it's a wonderful time for many people because it's all about family, love, gifting, eating gingerbread cookies, colors, so on. I also know that it can also be a very difficult time for those of you that have had, where Christmas brings back a lot of memories of loss and despair or hopelessness, loneliness. I get that. I mean, I don't understand it totally as much as you do. I mean, if you've lost your significant other and you're going through Christmas by yourself, I haven't experienced that, so I can't tell you I know what that feels like, but I understand that it has to be very difficult. I don't know how difficult it is. I hope I don't have to, but I understand there's a lot of things that at Christmas time that it can be, it seems like Christmas kind of amplifies what we're already experiencing. Like if we're already feeling lonely, Christmas kind of makes it worse. If we're already feeling loved and supported by family and we want to show our love to our family members, it amplifies that. And we feel more loved and more able to show our love, although we should show love all the time. Sherry and I were with some friends the other day, and we were sharing some thoughts, and I heard Sherry and this other lady talking about Christmas. And I heard the lady ask Sherry something like, does David buy you Christmas gifts or something like that? That really wasn't the total context. But anyway, I heard it, and I heard Sherry say, David's really good at Christmas, but he doesn't like buying gifts when he's forced to buy gifts. He likes buying me gifts throughout the season, throughout the year. Like he'll buy me a gift out of the blue in July. And I am that way because, I don't want to just be somebody that's forced by commercialism to buy somebody a gift. I mean, I like to buy gifts because I feel like I love somebody and I just want to kind of bless somebody or make somebody feel good by giving them a gift or something. Well, that's how I felt coming home from this conference. This conference was so therapeutic because I was just like, I thought it was just going to be, I speak at a lot of conferences, a lot of clubs. I thought it was going to be a tiny little club in the church basement. Maybe we were going to have a bowl of chili or something. That would have been fine. But all the unique details that Carrie put into this conference really showed, and how they treated me. It was quite humbling. It really was. And so many people came up to me that watched my channel and said things that were so inspiring to me, because right now I'm in a room all by myself staring at a camera and two lights shining on my face, and it kind of feels lonely. So it's good when I connect with you live in person at a conference and you tell me you watch me. I'm like, okay, I'll keep making videos because that's going to help me out a little bit. Was this in the scene the whole time? I don't know, dirty ladder. If you notice over here, part of the shelving is leaving us. This is not like a multi-universe weird thing happening. Like it's starting to just go away. But we're changing a lot of things. I'm rebuilding the shop along with a couple of my sons, the shop that we have way back here in this building. And I've made videos about from the shop in there. But if you look here, the shelves are disappearing. The top shelf is gone because I took it off and I took it out there to the shop. I've got a nice place to put about maybe 4 of these shelves, maybe all of them, I don't know. And so if you keep watching my videos, you might start seeing more and more things disappear behind me and dirty ladders in my scene and all. One of the things that inspires me about Christmas is Christmas shouldn't be just about, or let's say holidays. They shouldn't be just about the holiday itself, because there's a lot of special little things that happen in life during the holidays, but day to day. And I'm a glass half full kind of guy. The other morning, Sherry and my youngest son, Christian, he's 17 now, they said, "Man, David, what are you on? You're so hyper today." I said, I'm always like this. I'm always excited and pumped and enthusiastic. And they were like, "No, you're way over the top today." I don't know. I got a lot of good things going on for me right now. I feel good. I'm healthy. I'm busy. I'm creating a lot of things. I'm creating a lot of YouTube content. I'm rebuilding my shop. I'm doing a lot of work out there, making it the way I want it. I'm still doing a lot of cycling, even though it's cold outside. But one of the things is the little tiny things in holidays or during life that should really give us some satisfaction. And I think sometimes we want satisfaction out of the big things. You know, we want to be able to say, like, for example, I'm pretty competitive when I'm on my cycle. When I do my cycling, I try to beat my old record on my run that I do, on my cycling route that I take. And if I don't beat my record, I'm like, oh, I missed it by 30 seconds. I'm 30 seconds slower over that 30-mile run. But one of the things I have been trying to get myself to do, I got a gnat in here, is I'm trying to not be so competitive. Sherry says, you ought to just ride your bike and enjoy it. It's like, oh, I can't do that. I got a computer on my handlebars, my cockpit. I'm watching it. When I hit this telephone pole, I need to be at 12 minutes and 42 seconds. You know, I'm that way. So the other day I went cycling and I didn't look at the computer. I didn't see what my time was. It was kind of rewarding. I liked it. And so I think all of us need to realize it's the little things. We don't have to be competitive. You don't have to have, you know, if you're a sideliner and you have, let's see, sideliner was 51 to 499, I think. So you really need to have one more hive so you can be called a commercial beekeeper. Or if you have 1 to 50 hives, you're a backyard beekeeper. And are you so competitive that you want to have 51? So now you can call yourself a sideliner? Well, it doesn't get you any kind of a award. You know, oh, the honorable sideliner is here. You know, the sideliner. Oh my gosh, you know. It doesn't mean anything. One hive makes a difference. What's one hive, right? We're so competitive with those numbers sometimes we mess up our ego. So the other day I was driving in. Now this is interesting because I want to talk to you. This is coffee time. So we live down this long lane, and you can see here how long the lane is if you're interested. But it's a 1/4 of a mile lane that we live down, and it's dead end. We live at the end of this private property, no trespassing. We don't have a store here, anything like that. This is our private residential dwelling place. And that's where I film all my YouTube videos. So the other day I ordered some big things that I needed for the shop, and this really frustrated me. It upset me. But they arrived on a pallet. I was expecting that on a big heavy pallet. Probably 300 to 500 pounds on a pallet. And it was already dark outside, and it was just raining so hard. It was about 40 degrees, maybe 38 degrees, raining sideways. If you're from the north, if you're from Illinois, you know what raining sideways is. That's what we get in Illinois. The wind blows so hard when it rains, the rain goes that way. So does the snow, by the way. And so anyway, it was raining sideways. I had to take Christian somewhere. I was in my truck, and we were going down our lane, and we got to the end of it. And I'm like, what is that? And it was a pallet full of these electronic things that I bought in the sideways rain. Oh my gosh. FedEx in a large semi earlier in the day, unbeknownst to me or any of us, drove up and did not want to drive down our lane. Some semi drivers are scared to try to maneuver down here. They don't think they can turn around. And so they dropped it off next in the grass at the end of my lane. I mean, people could have stolen it. I mean, it was too heavy probably. So I said, oh, Christian, red alert. We gotta, get my knife out, and we got to start cutting the straps off. Let's get all of these things in the back of my truck and hightail them back in the shop, right? And I did. I always carry my knife on me. Oh my gosh, where's my knife? I've been doing so much work, I don't have it on me. That bothers me. Are you like that? If you don't have your pocket knife on you, you're like doomed, you know? But anyway, so I whipped out my knife and I was cutting all the straps off and opening up. I actually cut my finger. I'm always cutting my hands, but I think it was this finger right here. I injured this finger the other day, but anyway, I cut my finger just a little bit, had to put a Band-Aid on it. And so anyway, we managed to get that in there. But they had these big, huge plastic green straps that my knife would not. I have a Hinderer from Ohio. I couldn't cut those straps with that knife. I was just dying in the rain and cold. But I finally got them cut after cutting my finger too, not real bad. And we loaded them up. Those green straps laid next to my drive down there for 2 weeks. Every time I came home, I would drive past the green straps. And Sherry would, we don't like trash. We don't, we live in the country. It's a nice looking little area that we live in. And I didn't want anything trashy like that. But when you're driving, you don't want to stop. It's cold. I don't want to pick those straps up. My point in all of this coffee time is that I finally the other day stopped. And I was like, okay, I'm tired of looking at those green straps that have been there 2 weeks now. They're just sitting in the grass. They look trashy. I stopped, picked them up, put them in the back of my truck. We had a dumpster here from, working on the shop. So I threw them in the dumpster. And then a little bit further down my lane, we had a Clorox bottle. I think it was one of ours. I don't know how it blew down there. I don't know. But we've been bleaching some floors and stuff in the shop, And so I stopped and picked up the Clorox box. So the little things like that, sometimes we get so busy that we don't have time to kind of take care of the things that should be taken care of, the little things. And we get caught up in only taking care of the big things. And I think that's what the season can be a little bit dangerous about. We can get so caught up in going to this Christmas party or this Christmas play or this big seasonal thing that we neglect the little things that can be really rewarding. And so the little things are important. They really are. The little things, I think, sometimes bring a greater satisfaction than some of the big things we accomplish. It really does. So I want to have a little coffee time and just kind of summarize by saying, whatever little thing that you kind of need to do, or maybe you would like to do. Maybe that's a little thing that's not a burden. It's just something you would like to do, but you're so busy you haven't taken time to do that little thing. Do the little thing, Spend time. Take a little time and show other people through a little thing that you can do for them that you love and appreciate them. Do a little thing to make someone's life a little bit better. I mean, this club meeting that I went to, these were little things. They really were little things, but they were little things with great detail and very impactful for me and Sherry. So coffee time. Don't get caught up in all the big stuff. Don't be just trying to be bigger, better. More gifts. I have to go to all these things. Take time to relax, calm down and relax and enjoy the holidays and enjoy every day. Somebody once said to me, I think it might have been, somebody told me it was a quote from the Marines, but I don't think it was. I think it was a quote from a show about Marines. But anyway, this guy in the movie, I think he said something like, every day is a holiday, every meal is a banquet, and every payday is a fortune. And what that means is it's just how you look at it. And I teach that. I've been teaching my youngest son, Christian, that. And it's like, every payday is a fortune. I know it may not feel like a fortune, but you're getting paid. And every meal, maybe it doesn't feel like a banquet, but it's a meal. My gosh, that's kind of cool. Every day, it may not be a holiday because you got to work, you got problems. Everybody, I got problems, you got problems. All God's people has problems, but we can still have an attitude where every day is, let's view it like a holiday. We don't have to wait until December the 25th to have a holiday. All right, everybody, great being with you. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I've got another video that's all about December tips, things you should be doing in the month of December. I hope you'll check it out right over here. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, why not? Oh, you're making me sad by not subscribing. Just click on the little circle right here in my face and subscribe.